Greetings and salutations, Ben here, and welcome to the Sunday Night hanging right here on Sundays. Yep. If you're new, please subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. And speaking of welcoming back, the Lord of Laguna himself, the stomper of boxes, mainly on Saturdays, sometimes midweek, maybe. My good friend, Sean Pierce Johnson, back in the house. Great to see you, my friend.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Doing great. You know, searching pedals. Yeah. Always tone chasing. And
always searching.
Yeah,
searching. Hey, everybody.
We got a bunch of tone chasers in the chat already. Wow, 25 and it's going up. 28. All right, do I hear 30?
Cool.
Hear 30?
Yeah, come on, people. Let's get some more faces in here. Let's get some more faces going. Let's
see here. We've got Johnny Heartbreaker, great to see you. Thomas Santiago. He gets his name sung because he's Thomas Santiago.
That's
T.
very
Ricky,
special.
Charles 75N, aka Dr. Fabric Top, aka C Sizzle himself. Joe Hervey 84, Brother Symmetry, one of the co-hosts of Canucks with Guitars, right here on Monday nights because it's not on Sundays. Fast Eddie VH, good to see you. Zach Thong, he's been in here for an hour already. Jeff P. Of course, our brother Aaron from Albus Band.
Sup, buddy?
Who I can honestly say, if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't know that guy.
What do you know?
I met Aaron through your chat.
I love bringing people together.
Yes. Yeah. Lawrence Cash is here all the way from Alaska. LRM Guitars, Hit Metalworks, Ferd Burfel. Good to see you. Herb of Fireside Studio, Guitar Man 45, Josh Tanberg, great to see you. Michael Kraus, Cushman NYC, Billy Baloney, Paul McNary's here, Johnny Love, Terry's 3Gs, other co-host of Canucks.
What's up, Terry?
Let's see here. Who else do we have in here? Patrick Traits is here. Great to see Patrick. JP Page 2. And we got the pregame and co-host of Canucks with Guitars, Ben Tom, is in the chat. It's amazing.
The whole Knucklehead crew.
All of them. John Duchesne is here. Great to see you. Awesome. Anybody? Did I miss anybody? I think I got everybody so far. 38 watching. Wow.
All right.
Security just said script. Just let them all in. General admission, folks.
Seriously, just let them all in. General admission, pay as you exit.
Yeah. Just charge them a buck or two extra for the first beer, and we'll call it even.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, come on, let's get some more people here. Let's share this link around.
Like the feel button.
And don't forget thumbs ups. That helps too.
Thumbs help. Algorithms.
Yeah, seriously, about those algorithms, dang. Jeez, yeah. What are you gonna do about?
Speaking of algorithms, link to Sean's channel down below, folks. Check it out.
Yes, please do.
Amazing pedal demos,
thank you.
And what we'll call it almost vlog style content, like yesterday's video in a way. You know, it's gear related, but it's vlog related, and makes a fellow scratch his chin watching. What pedals, did I regret getting rid of? DoD envelope filter comes to mind off the top of my head.
Was it the extreme version or the regular version?
The regular green version.
Okay. Yeah.
Worst envelope filter I've ever tried in my life, and that's why I miss it.
Oh, that's too bad. You know, one of my little guitar rivals in high school was a huge. He would never admit it once we were in high school because he went total proto hipster, but he totally was an Incubus boy.
Oh,
and he just like. Early on when he started playing, it was just like, I need to clone Mike Einziger's setup.
Right.
So he bought, it's funny all those years afterward, because he kind of made part of my high school career a little bit of a living hell at times. It's like, dude, you were trying to be a copycat of your favorite player back when we were 14. Like, stop acting like you're Mr. Cool Guy here.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, it's what Ben said, like some vlog-ish related stuff, which you caught a few months back. I did a video on my first pedal. This is kind of a continuation of a series that is essentially all related to 20 years of effects pedals in my life. And so I'm kind of using the opportunity to go back, look at some of the things that I missed out on, look at some of the things that I had, look at some of the things I
Right.
got rid of, and then also spend some time looking at things that, like, hey, these are some new things, or these are some things that I've held on to that are some of my absolute favorite things. So there's definitely going to be more like that coming up. So I would highly recommend, and thanks to Terry for
Yes.
throwing the channel link in the chat.
Thank you.
But I
He
would
also has a
highly,
website,
yes, that's
ironically named after himself. Makes it
yeah.
easier to navigate there.
Who would have thought? I think I'd need to just do. I did try this. I did try to find if I could buy spj.com,
Right.
and it was taken, and they wanted far too much money for it.
Aye.
So maybe I'll have to buy the spj.com. We'll
Ooh,
see.
there we go.
But yeah,
I like it.
go to SeanPierceJohnson.com, scroll down to the bottom of the homepage. There's a sign up for the email list. That's essentially what I'm doing. Like, I had announced a while back that I'm not going to do Patreon anymore. It's just far too much headache. But what I am experimenting with at this moment is, if you subscribe to the email list, you get all the videos sent directly to your inbox. So you don't have to worry about the algorithm delivering it to you or not, because even bigger YouTubers are starting to have issues with YouTube delivering their videos to people.
Mhm.
And so the other thing that I'm also trying out is possibly sending those links early to people. And the way I kind of see it unfolding over the course of the next year or so, build it up to the point where not only will I get to send it to you guys before, and girls for that matter, because I want to see some more girl guitar
The
player
fellas
action
and
going
the
on.
fellettes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
fellas and the fellettes. I want to basically work it to the point where not only are you going to get it early, but possibly, if I can swing it, without ads. Unless, of course, it's an ad placement in the video.
Well, that's different, right?
So you won't, like, because as of right now, it basically just pushes you to the YouTube player. So, you watch it before Saturday at midnight, the monetization option is turned off.
That's right. There
So
we
we'll
go.
see.
Yes.
Just
I want to shout out Michael B says, thanks, Sean, for the EVH Iconic playthrough. Love the amp.
thank you, Michael. Appreciate that.
And I want to welcome David Pekarsky, Dan of New Jersey, Gretch Zeppelin. Who else do I see sneak in here? John Shane says, I sell pedals as fast as I get them. He does. Smallmouth guy, good to see you. And Charles75N asks, Ben, just wondering if you have the DoD FX75-B stereo flanger. Well, being that it is the year of the Dodd, why, yes, I do have the FX75B stereo flanger.
Look at that. Man, there are just some pedals that they just look cool. And DoD had so many eras where their stuff just looked so cool.
It's it's a cool. My buddy Richie will say this is the best stereo flanger he's ever used in his life.
Wow.
I will disagree with that fact, but I wish him well on it. It's not the newer one, so you still got to use the weird old adapter because they hadn't converted to modern technology yet. Like the stereo chorus that Charles did send me, that's the newer gen where you can put a standard barrel jack in there. Oh, there's Unbelievable.
Hey!
I thought you were only here for the calendar.
He's only here for the calendar, and
he wrote that pre-show, and I missed that comment.
I can't reach the camera to turn it. The calendar is, yes, on September.
Nice. Hey, Doug?
You can't see it.
LRM Guitar says, I think my first pedal was in 1978.
Ooh. What was it?
Yeah, that's a question. What was it?
What was it? That's what I want.
Because there was a variety of pedals available in 78.
Yeah, by that point, yeah. We're getting pretty close to rack mount territory. So
yeah, we're well into the holy trinity of Boss MXR and EHX.
Mm-hmm. Indeed we were. Yeah, man.
So if you have any questions for either of us, ask away. Hey, Adam D. All right, I have one before I forget. I've been
All right.
asking all my fellow YouTube friends over the course of the last few days, Sean,
Mm.
recommendations on a stereo in, stereo out chorus.
Mm. Stereo in and stereo out chorus.
And because you're such a pedal guru, a friend, I'm looking to replace the MXR stereo chorus. Okay, but I want that same gooiness, but stereo in, stereo out, basically.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
that's an interesting one. I would
both
go
Michael Krause.
if I okay. So the pedals, as some of you may have seen on social media, the studio is still in a bit of disarray, and my pedals are currently sitting on the landing just outside this door.
Okay, I know exactly where you're talking.
Yeah, because Ben's been to my house, people.
Yeah.
They're basically just sitting in a pile, stacked on top of each other, on the landing. So I would go root through that and try to confirm. You know what? We have the internet, everybody.
We do.
Why go through all that trouble when I can just fire up a website to confirm or deny my suspicion.
Nice.
So let's
And hello
see.
to Sassy Cat says first pedal was a Big Muff Pie, which still has. Nice.
Sup,
And the
Sassy?
chat just got dirtier because I see Garguts himself in the chat.
Oh, you dirty, filthy Mark. How you doing, buddy? It's been a long time. All right, I actually was just talking about this pedal today, with a fellow guitar player who was playing on the worship team today at church.
Mm-hmm.
And he was Buddy went all out today with his matchless independent head running into a 2-notes captor. His Bogner Duende combo had the speaker disconnected, and he was running that into another captor. Homeboy was rocking a rig like nobody's business today.
I will say there are some serious tone sniffers in the worship world.
I would agree.
Because it's a different game. We've talked about it a bit on previous hangs, and we'll talk more about it tonight. It's a different game. Talk about low stage volume. Whoo! Which I swear, promoters like Live Nation went, I was in church the other day. I really like that setup.
Yeah.
And Angus Young is going, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't at all. No.
But he had one particular pedal, and he has a really nice pedal put together with a couple H9s, a Musicon Lab switcher, all this stuff. Like, a homeboy knows how to put together a rig, but he had one particular pedal. One, not two, one.
Mm-hmm.
One, hanging off the board just with a couple patch cables gone on all awry. It was the Walrus Audio Juliana.
That is on my list. Yes,
that one I tried the Julia, and the Julia is if you want a CE2 but a little bit more.
Yep,
that's the one. If you're
all right,
totally
so
cool.
You and Aaron from Albus Band have both mentioned that one. I did come across that one. It was on my list. It was a touch thin sound. I got to see more reviews. I heard a couple I liked. A couple I went, ooh, I do not like your style, buddy. But
did you hear?
Yes, that's definitely.
Did you hear the one that I did?
Not yet.
Okay, I did both the Julia and the Juliana. They are on the channel. If anybody wants to throw those links in the chat, that would be awesome.
That's definitely on my list.
Yes,
and I see a few shout-outs in the chat, and I will say a couple of people have mentioned the Mr. Black. That is on my list. Pete Thorne mentioned the Eventide Tricera. Or Tricera Chorus. You say Eventide, I just go, ooh, that sounds expensive.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. If you're trying to keep it in a reason, like the Juliana's $250. And then the only other thing that I could think is either you can go Unbelievable's talking about New Neighbor and doing their Inspire chorus. I think that's stereo in, stereo out. Let me
and a few people have mentioned the Wazacraft Dimension C, which is on my list.
So good.
Only
good.
issue I may have with that is, and some people have run into, if you run a lot of gain and really pushing it, it's got a lower headroom than some other comparable pedals,
I
so you
didn't
can possibly get some sounds going.
I didn't find that to be the case.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that because I know you will stack gain as well.
Oh yeah, like, and that's that's a funny thing that you say. I got a comment on a video recently, like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad somebody did a video with distortion." And it's like, oftentimes I feel like if I don't have let me let's turn up my thing here.
I just turned it a bit.
Okay. Oftentimes I feel like if
A boomer.
a video doesn't have distortion at any particular point in the video with something where it's like, you would totally use distortion with this, I feel a little cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically growing up a rocker, it's kind of...
I think that's one of the reasons why Aaron and I met through your chat too, because we know Aaron is a heavy duty tone chaser and he stacks a lot. And when the two of you start talking, I'm like, oh man, I don't even know what they're talking about. And I like pedals, but they like pedals a lot, you know? Which was awesome because I got an in-house clinic on fuzz, and to this day, I now have at least a fuzz on my board at any given time.
We did that, Aaron. We did that.
Yep. And I'm still, waiting till I find one, a Keeley fuzz bender, because, I played yours and I went, oh, I shouldn't need that, but I do, and I don't know why.
You shouldn't need it, but you do. And and Aaron was lucky enough to win one of the custom ones. So 1 of 5 in the world, people, and Albus Band has one of them. Because the guy who originally won it never responded to my email. So lesson learned, people.
Hey, I rock.
Enter a giveaway. Respond to the email. Because that's the only way you're going to get the prize.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Other than
DOD Carcosa, I gotta check that out, Michael Cross. I don't know what that is.
I'm looking at one right now. It's a fuzz from the Tom Cram era.
Oh, well,
yeah. Let me go grab it.
Yes. iRock says my new 5150 Iconic has so much distortion. Yep, it has all the gain. It's a fuzz. What's up, Tom Raines?
Here we go. This guy.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I think I'm technically borrowing this from somebody. And I borrowed it in maybe like 2019. So obviously because reasons.
Yeah.
I still have it. And I honestly haven't played it in probably a year and a half because there's so many other things. But people love this thing. So I'll probably have to plug it in sometime soon and just see what... I played it briefly, but I just don't remember exactly how I felt about it.
I was going to say, and for those who don't know, Sean has a plethora of fuzzes because one of the things was when I was coming over to his place, he had mentioned on a previous live stream, he said, hey, I'm looking to get rid of some pedals. I said, hang on till post-NAMM, please. I'm coming out. I have money. Anyway, deal, buddy. And
I'm coming out. I have money. Yes.
And yeah, much like our pre-show conversation, have cash, right? And it was one of those, and it was funny because I was like, you take PayPal? You're like, yeah. I'm like, Patreon money? Thank you. So thank you to my Patreons. That's how that MX. But one of the things was, I said, I'm thinking about getting into fuzz. And you went, okay. And you brought out a smorgasbord of all the different fuzz circuits, because first we have to find out what fuzz Ben likes. So he and Aaron start twisting knobs and plugging in cables. And I don't know. I just played. And then they figured it out. And then we came up with a choice. And I still have the Tone Mob pedal as well.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Yes, BC Rich, you're just feeding my addictions. Yes.
Yep.
Hashtag lifestyle choices.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like, I'm, as obviously yesterday's video that went up shows, there are definitely some that I let go of that I I wish I hadn't. But more often than not, my reasons for getting rid of stuff are pretty easy to come to. You know, I don't have this. I live in a very nice place, but it doesn't have a whole lot of storage. And once you reach a certain amount of effects pedals, you don't really realize just how much space these little boxes stacked on top of each other take up. And so you got to get rid of some of them.
I've got a shelf.
Yeah, you got a shelf. I have a shelf and a closet.
Well, it's 2 shelves. There's the to be listed and then the currently listed pedals.
There you go. Yeah. Speaking of listed, and something that I can put out to everybody out there watching, if you haven't, I just signed up for Sweetwater's Gear Exchange, their used gear platform. So I'm experimenting with that, testing it out. Some of the stuff that's on my Reverb page is on there as well. Slightly higher in price, though, I will admit, on some listings, for a very specific reason, because on some of those listings, I'm experimenting with, as of right now, and I'm not being paid to tell you this, so I'm like, hey, this is a new selling platform, I'm going to try it, see if it works. Sweetwater's doing an introductory thing, where from now until Halloween, if you choose to get paid out via a Sweetwater gift card, because let's face it, that's really where we want all our gear sales money to go to, is more gear.
Right.
If you choose that, it will waive all the sellers and listing fees on that platform until Halloween.
I do like that idea, especially if you have your eyes on something that Sweetwater carries. And you're like, I need to get rid of this stuff.
Eyes on 2 things.
Yeah, and they'll give you, we'll give you a little extra something. Like, we can convert it to cash that you're going to convert back into our store anyway. So why don't we'll just shoot you a gift card? Yep,
exactly. Yeah, I got my eyes on 2 things. 2 things specifically. I give everybody 3 guesses if they can figure out which 2 things.
Yes, and while we do that, we had a question asked and answered, which was iRock Zed Blue said, did Hendrix use a fuzz? Yes. Boomer mentioned fuzz face. Yep. David Pekarski says, just getting acquainted with the Analog Man Peppermint Fuzz. It's amazing.
That's a very nice one.
Nice.
I like that a lot.
Johnny Love says, when your amps become your chairs, do you have too many? Just wondering. Maybe chairs, yes. Footstools and end tables, no. That's fine.
I would say no, because even with 1 amp as a 16-year-old boy, I was sitting on that thing. So I didn't have too many, but I did have a chair.
Yep. That's the one advantage of gigging with a combo amp. You always got a place to sit.
Yes, indeed you do. I've just never been much of a combo guy. I don't know. I have combo amps. I have 1 combo amp that I still keep.
I blame my father because he was a Fender guy, so he would, largely he always rocked a combo amp. And then again, by the time I was aware, he was playing country, and there was no real head and cabs in country at that time.
Yeah,
there is now because everybody plays to a Marshall half stack, but we're country. I'm like, you're playing a Les Paul, you're wearing a sleeveless T-shirt, playing through a Marshall with just as much gain as anybody else, and that's country? Oh, okay, sure.
The ingredients don't exactly add up.
No, but then they just sing with a nasal voice over top, and then maybe have a fiddle or banjo come in on the pre-chorus, and now it's country. What's up, Fruitcake Tony?
There's your nasal voice for the...
And I think they have 6 record producers in Nashville these days, because on road trips, my cousin put on the country station. I'm like, I'm hearing the same 6 songs over and over again. You're like, oh, it's that guy mixed it. He did the song 3 songs ago. It's got the exact same mix. Probably the same session players, too.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, that's kind of the way that most industry towns are. Yep. LA guy, I mean, there's a reason that guys like Landau, Thompson, Lukather, Huff, et al. Like, there's a reason that they got the reputation they got, because they were on so many things. And we know them because of those recordings. We know them because of those many, many sessions they played
Yep.
on.
And those may say, like say, it could be the artist says, "Hey, can we do that thing on my song that I heard on this song?" And they're like,
Right.
"Oh, that's Dan Huff." Okay, yeah. Or a producer
Right.
will say, "We need this," or management, or songwriter. Who knows? It could be a variety of reasons.
Why ask some random dude to do it Landau style when you can just call Mike Landau?
Exactly.
So
I swear their rigs probably never went off the trucks. They would just come off a truck into a studio, out of the studio, onto the truck to be taken to another studio. Never home, never in storage.
Well, probably in storage, but never home.
Right.
I love hearing stories about the old session days because I kind of got trained at a time where the session world was slowly on its way out.
Supposeek.
Like people were starting to be able to get more studio stuff in their home.
Right.
People were able to do more from a project studio. But you still had the words of, you still had the little talks of, you know, sessions, high profile sessions going on, and guys getting called in for, you know, playing on a record or playing live or performing on whatever, you know, and slowly that's gone away because obviously, like, I'm sitting in a home studio that I've worked in for almost 10 years now. And I've done so much of the work that I've done, whether it's recorded music, songwriting, demos, videos, it's all done in here. And yeah, it's.
I'm sure even like now, someone like Tim Pierce, he's just punching it in from home. Like,
and why? And you know, why not? If you have the space to be able to do it, why not do it? And so that was kind of the whole thing when the wife and I were looking for places when we were moving down to our neck of the woods, which I love now that I've been labeled the Lord of Laguna. That kind of makes me feel a little good.
So, and let your lovely wife know she's now the Lady of Laguna.
Yeah, she's always been.
Yep.
But it's like we wanted to be able to find a place that had enough room for us to do the normal, like, hey, we live here kind of crap.
Yep.
At the same time, somewhere that we could very easily start something up where our equipment could go and we could go into to make the creative process as easy as possible. And I think we did that pretty successfully.
You have a great layout. I'm just going to say, having visited your home, the way you have your workspace, she has her workspace, and then it's a great layout house. I'm going to say, I like your house. It's a nice layout house.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The only problem we've encountered right now, I would say, is that now that we've been doing more video work in this time. Not even gonna call it weird times anymore. It's just become the times.
It's just
but now that we're in these times, it's like I'm spending so much of my time making videos that the amount of stuff that's in this room and in the other room, it's like, okay, it would be really nice if we had a little extra space in the studio. Because once you throw up the lights and once you throw up the cameras, and most everything I do is just a 2-camera shoot, but once you start adding stuff, that space starts to get real
cramped, real fast.
Real cramped, real fast. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know we are seriously considering the next step. And I think a lot of what's going to dictate where we end up is going to be, can we find a place that we can either on the property retrofit a nice size studio for ourselves, or are we going to be able to have the ability to build it out ourselves?
Right.
And so we'll make it so that we can rehearse there, we can record there, we can make videos there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like right now you're great for doing YouTube content, solo recording, but you're not set up. It would be tight even for a trio, to be honest.
Yeah, and we've
Right.
even recorded demos with the full band when we had the full lineup together
Right.
working cohesively. We had drums in the other room on a very sparse
Personally, I'd put the
mic
drums in your
setup.
living room, John Bottom style. You got the ceiling height.
I've done it. I've done
I
it
bet you
many.
have.
I've done it many times.
Yeah.
But we wanted him in the other room just for that not so tight, not so big sound.
Yep.
We needed it a little bit tighter. We had the wife in the bathroom just on the other side of this wall that's behind me right here. She was singing in the bathroom. Classic move.
Perfect.
And then I'm sitting basically where I'm sitting right now. And then the bassist was sitting on my right-hand side, and I was playing guitar, running the Pro Tools session, and we were just basically live tracking demos, playing them like we would play them on a show, just to have something recorded down. So we've done some crazy stuff in this house. Recorded like a live, hipster trio, which was a really interesting experience, especially because the bass player ended up because it was so hot that day. And since we didn't want any of the air conditioning sound getting into the drum microphones, we didn't turn on the air conditioning. So he ended up like tracking a couple songs just in like with a shirt and his underwear on. So that was fun. We recorded another group, a local group. We recorded a 4-song demo with them. And these are just like, teenagers, like high school age. My wife was one of the singer's vocal teacher. And we had the drummer downstairs, John Bonham style. And especially like he had a John Bonham size kit too.
Perfect.
So it was really intense. We had the guitar player just sitting over here doing the thing. The bassist was sitting right there. I'm running the Pro Tools session. The wife is producing. And we actually had, right now I'm looking at my computer monitor here. The singer was actually on the other side of the computer monitor because the drummer was so loud and so forceful with his hits, it would bleed into the microphone that was in the bathroom. So we couldn't put the singer in the bathroom. But the way that we had the microphone set up, and she was just using like a dynamic microphone, so it wasn't picking up a whole lot of bleed or anything.
Right.
And they were behind the speakers. So with the microphone that we chose for her to use, it wasn't picking up a lot of that excess stuff happening in the room. So that was another interesting packed day. But that day, because the drummer was so stinking loud, we were able to run the air conditioner and not pick it up in the microphones.
Right.
That was
hashtag loud drummers.
Yeah, hashtag loud drummers. But we've rehearsed down in our living room many, many times. We shot a music video down in our garage. Like we have.
I couldn't remember if you had a garage or not.
We have three car garage.
Right.
3-car garage that currently only has 1 car in it.
And a lot of pedals.
No, the pedals stay in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have massive.
This is a car cover sitting there. Is that a car under there? No, a lot of pedals.
It's like that one episode of Friends where Joey's trying to pretend that he has a Porsche and he just piles up cardboard boxes and puts the car cover on.
Exactly.
How do you know he has a Porsche? I'm wearing a Porsche jacket. I got the Porsche hat on. Look at me. Me.
Hey, Boner Jams. Good to see you, my friend. Along with Dwight Bailey's in here as well.
What's up,
Great
kids?
To see you guys. What's up, Grasshopper? Not true. The pedals are also in the green room closet, like the whole thing.
Yep. Yep. The pedals are in the green room closet. They still are. Well, they will be. They will be. I am happy to say that on Tuesday afternoon, not morning, I don't have to get up at 7:30 in the morning. On Tuesday afternoon, that room is finally getting the new flooring put in, and I can start putting the studio back together, and it's right in proper place, and everything will be fine, I think. But this has been a month and a half of just, where can I put my gear today?
There's my cousin Doug, Down and Back Cornhole Podcast, and RJ the Mad One. Good to see you, my friend.
Hey, RJ.
Just
How you doing,
be
buddy?
back, Doug. I cannot do a lunchtime show on Tuesday.
Lunchtime show.
Maybe we'll do a Wednesday show this week, Doug, because I can't do Tuesday. Let's see here. Looking for more TP. Find a Klon under the sink instead. Josh.
Dude, I wish I could find a Klon under my sink. I would I'm probably gonna catch some flack, and I do not care at this point. It's just the truth. If I ever came into possession of a Klon, I'd just sell it immediately.
Yep. What's up, Steve Anderson and Milt T? We got 59 people watching. Nice. Please leave a thumbs up if you haven't already, and please subscribe if you haven't already. One thing I really want to do is I want to convert a doorbell, and I haven't decided which pedal I'm going to use for a doorbell yet.
You saw that post about the Boss DS1 doorbell, didn't you?
I did.
There you go. You can't hide these things from me.
I did. I need one in my life.
I mean,
it wouldn't be that hard to set up now with these Bluetooth setup.
Right. I'm sure it would be like super easy to do. You're just...
Especially a Boss. You just have to put the plunger underneath as long as it works, right?
Yeah, it's just a casing, you know? It's not that big of a deal. Anyway. Oh, I see Ben signed up for my email list. Thanks so much, Ben. Yay.
I didn't realize I wasn't already signed up. I'm like, oh, dang. All right.
Well, I greatly appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Now I know I'll also get the videos, because
Yes.
your video from yesterday, I had to look. I saw you share it on Facebook, but I saw that on my phone. I'm like, no, I want to watch it on the computer.
Yeah.
And of course, it didn't come up in my feed. So then I was like, fine, I'll just do a search.
Again, people, this is exactly why I'm trying to cut out the middleman here. I'm trying to take some initiative. If you went to the trouble of clicking the subscribe button, you should see the videos of the channels that you subscribe to. So, with that in mind, you subscribe to my email list because you want to watch the videos I make. You get to see them.
That's right.
And who knows what'll happen in the future? Because it's like I always say to people, the horrible thing is that although we think to ourselves that, oh, numbers don't matter, sadly, companies look at numbers.
Yeah. What's your market penetration?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do necessarily with quality of work. It's all about how many eyeballs. Like I did see some talk in a recent post in a group. I can't remember which one. There are far too many guitar groups for me to remember. But someone was talking about whether did Rick Beato getting a signature Gibson make sense. And it's like, well, the guy has 3 million followers, which I'm sure most of them are going to be guitar players. And so, yeah, it makes a whole lot of sense.
And I believe it's tied into a charity as well.
I don't know. I did see that. I cannot say with full
confidence. Can't verify it. I only heard that as a rumor. But either way,
yeah. If it is tied into a charity, fantastic. You know, that's great. But it does actually, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. And of course, there's going to be some people out there that are like, Oh yeah, Rick Beato, he's old. Gibson, it's the guitar company for my dad. And it's like, I'm sorry, dude. I don't watch Rick's videos. I personally I've only watched a few, and I haven't gotten I've gotten something out of a few of them, but not a whole lot. But hey, God bless him. You know, he's
Yeah, like certain
built.
ones that come up, I'll watch. If it's involving a band I like, for instance, okay, I'll check
Right,
it out. But
right.
if it's one of his, can I get away with this on YouTube? I could care less.
I
Because I
want
already deal with that as a YouTuber. You don't need to tell me how it
right,
works.
right.
No,
I
Michael
do.
Krause, there will not be a signature Dane Electro by me.
Oh, that would be so fun, though. I do want to bring up that Billy Baloney said that the profits go to Save the Music. So there you go. That's the charity it's connected to.
Nice.
But it makes absolute sense. Like, hey, if Gibson wants to partner with Rick, and Rick likes playing Gibsons, which I like playing Gibsons myself,
Sure.
if they're going to offer you something and it's something that you're into and you can work it in a way that it makes sense for you in your business, or you're able to do something like it seems Rick is doing and giving profits to a charity that he supports, it's a win-win situation. Gibson gets exposure now to close to 3 million sets of
Mm-hmm.
eyeballs. And not only that, Rick, those guitars, regardless of how people feel about the way things are priced in the gear world, and no matter how bad the dollar is right now, people that have the money are still going to pay the money if they want it bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that guitar will probably sell quite a few. If it sells out, hey, guess who won? Gibson and Save the Music.
That's right.
And by
Exactly.
extension, Rick Beato.
Yeah. I've tuned in a few of Rick's live streams. He lost me within 3 minutes because his level of knowledge of theory and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I know these words. I know they're English, but I am not understanding the order that you're presenting them in.
It's like
So
that. It's like that scene in the movie Good Burger. Uh huh. Oh yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh.
yeah,
I know some of these words.
pretty much. Yeah.
Hell, Mitchell, I
But,
miss you.
he's always been nice to me anytime I've talked to him in person, and
Yeah.
he did get a little annoyed when I called him sir one night.
Sir.
Well, he was blocking the door. I want to go out for a vape. And I said, "Excuse me, sir," and he says, "I am not a sir." And I said, "Well, actually, you are." And then I walked out
Well.
because he's got a great channel. What can I say? Let's see. Aaron thinks that they're already sold out, which would be nice. Okay.
Yeah, that would be nice.
See, Ricky Compton says, I still don't get the Gibson hate. If you don't like them, don't buy them. They're good and bad guitars in all companies. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The biggest thing for me was just the sheer volume of finish flaws I would see on guitars in guitar stores. I'm like, these are factory seconds.
Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of like veer into that a little bit so strap in, people. We're gonna go somewhere.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go somewhere with this. So I was actually thinking about this recently because I was recalling a conversation that I had with Glenn Fricker during the NAMM show. And it was after he had gotten the Dave Mustaine V and done the video on it. I hadn't gotten a chance to watch it, but he said like it was actually an okay guitar. But he felt like the paint job was what set it apart. And that was the problem. The finish just looked terrible, which Glenn has very strong opinions of things. So
he does.
I feel like his "it looks terrible" would be, to me, it's fine because of this. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will recognize this guitar if they watch my channel for any length of time, my Jennings Navigator. And I absolutely love this guitar, but it's done with a matte finish, no grain fill. Mm-hmm. And, hey, I mean, at face value, this looks like a mint guitar. Cool. Well, let's see. If we turn it over on its back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12 dings, scratches, cuts, half of which happened within the first 6 months of owning this instrument. One of which happened within the first 3 months. The most egregious one, where I accidentally dropped something on the guitar.
That happens.
My feeling on this Gibson hate content that comes out is always, I need to take this with an almost indigestible amount of salt. Because people just for some reason love to crap on Gibson. And my feeling is, if the finish is the only flaw that you can find in this guitar, then I question how often you play the guitars that you own.
Right.
Because I still have guitars, almost every guitar I own, and I bought my last guitar in winter of 2020, my Ormsby 7-string.
Right.
Even that now has scratches and a dent or two.
Scratches and stuff. Yeah, that happens. My big issue, it's like the bit of overspray on the binding, or a badly cut nut. Fortunately, rarely do you find bad fretwork, because now necks help that a lot, and that Gibson owns a Plek machine, and I assume they still use it. So,
yeah, for me,
and then I was saying, because the longest time Fender was just putting out production line guitars, that were fine. Yeah. You didn't hear the Fender hate, but you also didn't hear anybody go, "Holy crap, this Fender is amazing."
Exactly.
No, it's like a Ford pickup. It does what it does.
And for me, it's just like, I can't... the reason I never think about the finish being a problem is because I know that if this is a guitar that I enjoy playing, I don't give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rats behinds what this finish looks like. I'm going to play the guitar, and within a couple years, it's going to look like it's been played.
This is true. I only point out the flaws when buying a new guitar because they're asking new prices.
Right. And so
an LP standard's pushing $4,000 Canadian these days. So
yeah,
I'm like, that's a car.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want you want it to be right, but again, used could care less, unless the guy's like, I want showroom new price, or basically tax free, and you're like, the thing looks like you dragged it over here behind your car.
Right. And bringing all that up is just to say that just gives you an idea of, if you wonder, like, the frame of reference of how a person that does what I do looks at things. I judge it based off knowing this is my job. Like, legit, I haven't worked a real job, in well over 6 years. 7 years ago, it was like, I'm just done, and this is what I'm doing now. So all these things that I get in, all the money that I can invest back into the job, it's because this is my legitimate profession. So if I get, my American Pro 2 Strat that I got a couple years ago from Fender, no finish flaws, but did I care? No, because it played like a good Strat, and it looks, just the finish alone looks cool. That's all everybody needs to know.
And those were great guitars when they came out. I was just like, wow, pickups are voiced nicely, and it's funny, again, they get away with stuff that, if Gibson puts different pickups on the guitar, the sky is falling, they're not blah, 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 whatever. Whereas every new Fender that comes out has a differently voiced pickup of some kind, because it's their version whatever of, and they're always tinkering with stuff. But guess what? You plug it in, it still sounds like a Strat.
Yeah.
And honestly, a Les Paul still sounds like a Les Paul. The difference between a Burstbucker and a 498T is so small.
Yeah.
I don't hear it myself. I'm not saying that you won't hear a difference, because my hearing's not the best, but I'm sure there's certain people that can hear the difference. Personally,
Right.
I don't know. And besides, you're cranking it into a Marshall anyway. Who the fuck cares? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
get a kick out. I was watching, what was it, the Anthrax Rig Rundown. Shout out to our friends at Premier Guitar for doing the Rig Rundown. Perry and Scott Ian's talking about, yeah, I can really hear the clarity with this. I'm like, one, it's a fucking flying V. They're not exactly tonal monsters. And two, you're playing it through an EVH head. How much definite, I get, but it's always metal guys are always talking about the, I got these different pickups, so it's more clear. I'm like, you play with a ton of gain. I don't get it, but I'd like to try it because I do understand when I play with a lot of gain at certain points, you're like, ooh, this guitar is a little muddy, but another one might be a little clearer.
You're well, speaking as someone who plays mostly a high gain kind of sound in his everyday writing kind of stuff, you do run across guitars that they'll be of the same ilk, but one will lend itself better to a certain type of sound. For example, I tend to favor Les Pauls and single cut style instruments. And I currently have 2. I used to have 3. Now I have 2. The main black and silver one that I use in the majority of the videos that I make, that's kind of my go-to. I know what to expect out of that. But it has Seymour Duncan JB and Jazz pickup combination. That pickup combination I came to just by reading about what other modern rock guitar players were using around the time that I got those pickups put in, which at this point now is probably about 16 years, maybe? Close to? Yeah. So they've been in there for a while, and I know what they sound like.
And they sound great.
Thank you. Very much appreciate that.
I can say I played the guitar. That was the first guitar I played. You're like, hey, I know you're a Telegay. You want to play my Jennings? I'm like, no.
I want to play.
I need to play the OG LP first.
There you go. So the other one I have, and one that Terry asked in the video comment section of the video yesterday, was, were they the same guitar? The second one I have is another Les Paul Studio. That one has a Bigsby on it, but those are stock Gibson pickups. And from what I what I understand is that they have a I think it's a 490T in the bridge. I think. I'm not positive on that. But one of the interesting things about that Bigsby and stock Gibson pickup set is that I find that particular guitar has a level of aggression to it and almost like snappy immediacy to it that works really well for rhythm stuff. And the sound, it has that Les Paul thickness, but it's got a snap to it. And so even through my rock reverb and even running like an 808 tube screamer in front of the rock reverb, I can sense that the OG black and silver Les Paul has a little bit more warmth to it. And then the Bigsby Studio, that has that immediacy to the attack of it. And a little bit possibly extra sparkle. I don't know if that's due to just having a lot more metal on the guitar rather than just like a tune-o-matic kind of bridge, because it's a full-on Bigsby. It's not a small potato thing.
No.
So I wonder if that does contribute to it. But you can hear the difference. At least I can. And I can even feel it. The Bigsby one, you can feel that snap and immediacy with it. And I mean, those guitars are just home for me. But
I remember when I put on the first Les Paul, I went, "Oh, this has been played. This has been loved." You just feel it, and it wasn't like the thing's relic to death or anything like that. It's just you can tell. I'm like, wow, this has had a lot of gigs on it.
It's been through a thing. It's napping right now. Not ready to wake up yet. Not ready to wake up yet.
No, your bridge doesn't move, Josh. A little more string on the guitar because the way it wraps around and stuff. It's a little more string used, but the scale length would be the same.
Actually, yeah, I guess you would have a little bit more. Yeah, you would have some more string length on there.
Similar if you top wrapped it, maybe.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah, probably similar to a top wrap, I would say. Maybe just ever so slightly more. But I don't think it's really the string length that contributes to that snap. There's something else to it. I'm not really sure. But it doesn't make for a longer scale. It's still the 24 3/4 scale. So you don't have to worry about that.
Right. Apparently someone is turning all the RPMs flying down the highway. What's up, Gary Davlin? Good to see you, my friend. Ricky Compton in the house.
Oh, that's a name I've not seen in a while. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah. And yes, rumors are true, folks. You can turn down the gain on your amplifier.
The rumors are true, and they were placed there by deep tone malarkists who are trying to besmirch the good name of high gain.
Yeah.
So don't listen to deep tone conspiracists.
Yep. Speaking of tone, thoughts on the, I guess, newly or reissued orange pedals?
Oh boy, I was wondering if this was going to get brought up. So I'm gonna make a plea here.
They had me at the phaser.
I'm gonna make a plea to the good folks watching right now to please do consider visiting my website and signing up for the email newsletter. I had just got some notifications that a couple more of you have done so,
Sweet.
and I'm just going to say that my level of honesty will be influenced by the number of you that subscribe. How nice do you want me to stay nice, or do you want me to speak plain and true?
Well, you can say whatever you want. It's not your channel.
But know that I speak the truth in love.
That's true. And I'm always good for a Sean rant on occasion.
Yes. Sean rant.
Yeah. It's almost like, like you could do that second camera. Okay, now I'm good. One of those. Yeah. Now for the real story.
And now.
Yeah.
And now. No, so I guess I'll just get started by saying that when that project got started, I knew about it pretty early on. Mm-hmm. My love of orange amplifiers has been well established. I have had a very good relationship with them since probably like 2010, 2011. Yeah, Joe Hervey. It's at my website, SeanPierceJohnson.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage. Sign up for the email list. All video links sent direct to your email inbox. Make sure that you see the stuff and the algorithm doesn't screw everything up. So I remember when that project got started, and I found out pretty early on that it was something that they were actually exploring the possibility of making happen. And a lot of that legitimately involved owners of those vintage pedals sending pictures, schematics, all sorts of stuff. And I think they may have even gotten a couple of them from the owners. But it really got spearheaded by the fact that they found those schematics for those old pedals. And I've seen a lot of comments about people saying stuff like, nobody asked for this, reissue the dual dark. That's a lot of the popular
hey, sis.
Comments I see. Hi, Amanda. Good to see you. So yeah, what no one asked for this, reissue the dual dark. Number one, yeah, people asked for it. When that, basically, a picture of those pedals, prototypes or something or other, started making the rounds on social media, and people got really jazzed about these old orange pedals.
Well, sure, because there's like what? At least a generation and a half of us that are like, what do they sound like?
These were a thing. I didn't even know they were a thing, and I had been involved with the company for almost a decade at that point. So now it's like, okay, we as a company see there's some chatter online about an old product we used to make. I wonder if this is possible, because it's kind of hard right now to make a tube amp, in case anybody needed to know or hadn't figured it out already. Okay, well, people seem to want this, so why don't we explore the idea of making it? Lo and behold, it seems like some people are into it, and some vintage orange enthusiasts are willing to help us out. Hey, we found the schematics. We can definitely make this happen. And I remember when they found the schematics, Charlie Cooper, son of Cliff Cooper, founder of Orange Amps, posted in an Orange Amps owners Facebook group that they had found the schematics. And people said, dude, so awesome. Can't wait to see this. Now, the pedals come out. And people seem to be less than thrilled. Nobody asked for this. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You totally asked for it by sharing the photo. You totally asked for it by saying these look so cool. The activity generated by that one picture on social media started the firestorm, much like Boss with the HM2W. That would not have happened without social media. So that's point number one. Point number two. The price is a little shocking for pedals so simple. Yes, I agree. $250 is a lot to ask. I will actually
that's getting into like $350 Canadian, and that you can buy Keeley stuff, which is all digital and stuff.
So let me see.
Edwin Crane, good to see you, my friend.
So they're currently listed on Sweetwater right now. All three of them for pre-order. All of them are $249. So yeah, I get it. A one knob phaser for $250. Why would you spend that money when it's like it's just a bigger Phase 90?
And it sounded very Phase 90.
And it sounds good. There's nothing wrong with that.
Which I like, but it sounded very Phase 90, and that's why I was interested in it.
But then you have the compressor, you have the distortion. Those sound pretty good. But from what I understand, number one, they're being made, from what I understand, they're being made in the UK. They're not being made in China. That's from what I understand. I'm not. So don't take my word as gospel, but from what I've been able to surmise through my relationship with them, is that these are being made in the UK. Which automatically is going to increase the labor cost. Because people might not want to admit it, but the pound is pretty strong right now.
It would be like if Electro Harmonics started reissuing pedals made fully in the USA. Even your Nano series would be costing $200.
Exactly. So, okay, you have made in the UK. You have to pay for UK labor. All right. Then you look at Orange actually released a few videos with Ada Emsley talking about the pedals. They're very short, but he does show the insides of the pedal. Yes, they are on PCBs, like most things are these days on PCBs, which of course are going to be made in mass quantities overseas. Yes, they are. The parts are not going to be made. They're in a country where they are going to be super expensive. They're all most likely going to be made overseas. But from what I saw in those videos, they're not surface mount components. They are through hole components, which, depending on manufacturing, you're either going to have to do all that by hand, or you're going to need a pick and place machine. Right. So that's
which I'm guessing they probably did not invest in.
Right. So
it's you more or less 5 guys named Nigel that build pedals very fast.
There you go.
They're all the Nigels.
Yeah, I don't know why. All the Nigels are over here. They're building the pedals. That's their job. That is what they do.
Yeah. The Nigels, they go to lunch together. They dress alike.
Yep. Exactly. So you've already got made in the UK. Now it's the more expensive parts, the more labor intensive part. And I have on good authority, because I spoke with Charlie at the NAMM show. We were talking about me doing videos on them back at the NAMM show, which I anticipate anytime soon I will be seeing those pedals in the studio.
I would hope to think so.
And what he told me is that currently, with the situation that we have, we can only make X amount, and our orders are already spoken for. So people are...
Which on that hand, because let's be honest, by them sending you a pedal, it's, here, make a commercial for us, because that's essentially what YouTube videos are. But if they've already sold out, they don't really need to make a commercial, because they've sold out. Now, the retailers, that's up to them, because they haven't sold out. But,
right. So it's just... They just weren't able to. When we spoke, he didn't see it possible to make a large quantity of these in order to not only launch into all the orders that they had to fill, but then send it to all these different people.
Yeah, because you got to send at least a set of 3 to every orange dealer.
Exactly.
In theory.
Exactly. So,
because you don't want to be that guy. Oh, I'm going to go into my orange dealer. Hey, you got the pedals? No. Oh, you're not a very good orange dealer. Why don't you have the pedals? Because nobody's asking for them until you walked in. Do you want them? I'll order them in for you.
Yeah. So now we just have, it's a little odd to pay that much money, but
like say UK pedal and
UK pedal, the more expensive parts, they're not being made. They're trying to make them in quantities enough that they can send it to dealers. They can send it to influencers. And then there's also, like, from what I was told, I was basically getting a tour box with them. Yeah. That I would then get them. I'd have like 2 or 3 weeks to make the videos, and then I would have to send them off to the next person. That's how little of the production run there was going to be.
Which is generally what we see more as YouTubers on the guitar side of things, not the pedal side of things.
Right.
Although I have seen it with some pedals in the past, and I can't remember who it was, but it was not a limited run, but limited availability. And I remember a handful of YouTubers literally had the pedal, you get it for a week, type thing.
It happens. It really does. And so although I think that the asking price is to put it across the board $250, like maybe it would have been smarter to maybe drop the phaser down to like $1.99 as opposed to $249.
Right.
I just think that there's it just kind of, I put it one way in another group I was in that I could speak a little bit more bluntly in, and I'm trying to.
I see it too. Since when is Orange supposed to be in an entry level company, right?
Right.
Like you're literally, hey, can you reissue this classic circuit? And we want it just like back in the day. Oh, so you want a Nigel to build it in the UK and everything and with good parts? Yeah, but I only want to pay Behringer prices for it. That's not the way it works.
Yeah, I mean, when I bought my rocker verb, I bought it from one of only 10 U.S. dealers. And I just so happened to live near 2 in Southern California. and it was $2,500. Nowadays, I think they're a little bit less expensive. Maybe starting at 23. I can't say for certain. But I just said bluntly, it just kind of goes to show like that guitar players, we're a funny bunch. And we like to think we know a lot about certain things.
Well, yeah.
But if you've never worked on the manufacturing side and you've never worked intimately with a company, because I have on several occasions, and
yeah, there's a handful of companies you've worked with, like since I've known you.
Yeah.
That, like, put it this way: when company A is teasing out a product, chances are I know you're going to be one of the 6 people. We'll say that the day it's released. Hey, look at that!
But I even mean like I was on contract.
Right.
I was on contract with these companies to work with them on a product launch. I was an employee or a contracted consultant.
Right.
The amount that goes into it is the amount of work to get it marketed, the amount of work to figure out how to most easily manufacture certain. It is a lot of work. And
it's harder, I would think, as a company is bigger, right? Because that initial launch, it's not like, well, we'll take our good friend Lawrence over to LPD Pedals. If he wants to tease a limited run of something, he can do 10.
Yeah.
And just put it out on the website, and he knows that core of us will, hey, that's new, or do an email blast of 25 or 50 even. But
and I'll even speak to my own experiences working for both New Neighbor and Carvin. New Neighbor, smaller local company. Everything was made basically as much as could be handled within whatever facility the company was in. We had a contract manufacturer locally that built out the PCBs and sent them to us. We got the finished PCBs. They were programmed. We tested them. Pedals were fully assembled at our facility, tested, all that stuff, burning in the PCBs and all that stuff. I mean, if we took delivery of PCBs, it was maybe a week to 2 weeks turnaround on a finished product. But we were buying smaller quantities. But once we hit with that immerse pedal, that's when things really started to pick up. And it was like, that's when dealers started coming on.
Yeah.
That's when so many other people started becoming aware of the company that now it was becoming important to have to, scale up.
Right.
On the flip side with Carvin, when I was working with them when that Legacy Drive pedal was launched, and that in and of itself, just getting the marketing material for it, I was flown out to a date on the Passion and Warfare tour to go film content with Steve Vai. That was a 3-day trip of just content grab, airport, and they paid for all of my airfare, my hotel, my rental car, meals were reimbursed, all that stuff, my checked luggage and anything extra that I needed to get the gear there. If I needed anything in the area near that gig, then I would be able to get it and the company would reimburse me. That's still part of the expense of launching a product and influences the final price of a product. And then when it's like, okay, we've got the content, the final prototype has been approved by Steve, now we can move forward with figuring out manufacturing. And I remember the first day that we started manufacturing those preamps. I went into the office maybe like once every week was usually my regular rotation. But by the time that came out, Carvin had moved to a new facility. They were in a new surrounding, and so they had spent money on that. And the enclosures were custom color, because that was the color that Steve wanted.
Yep.
Custom size and shape, It had tubes in it. It had a printed circuit board with surface mount components on it, custom knobs, custom faceplate, all this stuff. Everything bespoke, and had to somehow be manufactured by somebody.
Right.
So I got to see a lot of that, and I got to see a breakdown of it. And I would go in with the engineers, and if they had something that they're like, hey, we want you to check this out, we want to get your opinion on it. And one of those things was the follow-up to that legacy drive was the X1, the X100B in a preamp. And
what's up, Coots?
One of the things that we talked about was, what is this going to look like to actually do it justice? What kind of, are we going to be able to put everything that we want to put into it, or are we going to have to cut some corners? What are we going to do? And even between the legacy drive and the X1, there were changes that needed to be made because a vendor stopped, for some reason, just went radio silent. So now we need to go find a new vendor for this thing.
Yep.
And then, of course, with the legacy drive, automatically it's going to have an upcharge because Steve's name is on it. So all that is to say...
Yeah, well, because Steve's got to get a taste somehow, too. Whether it's a per-unit deal, or it could even be, hey, you don't need to pay me a penny for that drive pedal. However, I need a new set of amps, or whatever it is. Like, there is some... Steve's getting paid somehow. Right,
yeah.
Fishbowl?
Look, all I'm saying is this.
As you should.
To sum it all up, is there's a reason that some people are successful business people in this industry, and why some people are just players and buyers of the equipment. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying it as a fact. If you haven't had the intimate experience of knowing what manufacturing looks like, then you can't speak to why should the orange phaser cost $250? There are so many reasons that it could.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that $250 would be the price that I'd want to pay for it.
Right.
But that's the reality of it. That's what they're going to charge. And like I said earlier, someone out there is going to have enough money to pay for it and say, that, I want that.
See, Herb?
And to Bazooki's point, or successful businessmen who spend all their money on vintage stuff like Bonamassa. I can't think of a guitar player who's probably a better business guy than Joe. He knows his brand. He knows his audience. And he knows what's going to get people talking.
And it's all him, too.
Half of that. I don't think people realize just how self-aware Joe Bonamassa is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, having hung out with him outside the internet and away from the prying eyes of cameras, Joe Bonamassa is so self-deprecating.
He is.
That it's just like, oh, he knows. He knows. Yeah. And you know what? It's a blast. It's so fun. Because he not only gets it, but he also loves this. Like, legit loves this.
Yep.
So, you know what? People say like, oh, people say like, oh, he play his style so much like Eric Johnson. In one of his most recent rig rundown video he did, he literally said, and this is the sound that basically makes people say I sound like Eric Johnson. and he launches into a very Eric Johnson kind of sounding thing, and you can't screw with Joe Bonamassa.
No,
you're just not going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Now, see, I like Joe. He's not getting an invite on the channel until he discovers pedals. That's all I'm saying. Until he fully embraces pedals and starts pulling a Josh Scott, because Bonamassa would probably call Josh and say, so how much for all your extras, all your doubles?
You should look at his new rig rundown. It's his old it's his old pedal board from back in 2012 or something.
Right.
You know, with the, but he's using it like
Nice.
that big pedal board. He's using it.
Good.
So,
Good. Yeah, I gotta check that out. I haven't checked that one out yet. Came up on my
but
feed yesterday,
I think one of the things that I think one of the things with him, and he said so on the rig rundown, is he likes the fact that his board is very easy for everything to replace. Like he can just walk into a Guitar Center.
Yeah.
Oh, my 808 broke. I'll just go grab an 808 reissue at the local guitar shop. But yeah, he's got. Michael Krause says, "Don't go full Josh Scott."
Never. Yeah. And I warned that last week, and I'll say it again, folks. I said on last week's Zoom call, never go full Bonamassa when getting into guitars. Never, because you'll end up with all of them. So,
well, I don't know what to tell you, because that's kind of what I wish I could work towards.
Yeah. I'm trying. Yeah, that's why I only have 7 DoD pedals, even though it's the year of the Dodd, because I didn't go full Bonamassa. I didn't buy 50 this year.
Never go full Bonamassa.
I'm very happy that Josh Scott exists as well, Octopus Ears, because he's the only manufacturer that'll actively say, "Here, check out this product I didn't make. Yeah, it's really cool. You should get one." And then if it's really, really cool, and guess what? I will have my version coming out next year. And I have no problem with that either, because everybody is cloning this, that, and the other thing, right? There's only so many circuits. There's only so many ways to make a gain stage. So, Fishbulb says people are into collecting DoD.
Oh yeah,
I guess. Well, I know myself and Gabor, for our friend down under. He rekindled my love of the Dodd. I will say.
Oh yeah. I feel like I don't even know. Like
it's been one of my secret sauce of my tone for years. I've had a DoD Octoplus on my board always.
Nice. I feel that is odd. I was gonna look at my Reverb watch list, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm on the Wi-Fi and my camera starts going on the fritz. That's weird. But yeah, I'm pretty sure most of the pedals I'm watching on Reverb right now are DoD pedals.
Nice. Let's see what we got here. Hey, Travis. Ian. Fishbulb's first pedal was a DoD death metal. I had a Digitech death metal for a while. I gave it away. Too much game.
Wow. Okay. It seems like my camera is okay now.
You're back.
Okay, cool. Good. What's with all...
Oh, froze up again. And you're back.
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave and then come back.
Sounds good. We can do that.
Let's see if this works.
Travis asks if anyone's around here in the Boston area. I was going to say, yes. Surfer Bee was in here. Edwin Crane had the DoD Octoplus. Nice. Doesn't track very well, but hey. It's kind of a secret sauce to my tone back in the day. Michael Krause is north of Boston. There we are. And back. And froze. Give it a sec here. I would love to get all EVH pedals, but right now I'm happy with my Joyos, Coot says. Yeah. Oh, I think his camera went down. It says now devices not connected. What's up, Mark? He's going to restart his camera. We have texting ability. I like the JHS live shows. It's like a late night talk show. Yep. Boss OC2 doesn't track well either, but those go for 100. Yeah, I want to get a Boss Octave. Oh, excuse me. Right, Garguts?
How's that? There we go.
Yeah, you seem fine now. This is good.
Okay.
This is good.
Good.
Charles is asking, what's coming this week? Possibly finishing up the Kramer build. Hopefully. Oh, that's fought me. But hopefully that, and I can quickly check because it's already in the can. The soda pop tasting this week will be... What will it be? It will be Faygo Delicious Orange. That's right. A taste from my American friends.
Faygo.
Yes. Recently, for the longest time, I could find Faygo in Canada, Sean, but it was only 2-liter bottles. And I was just like, without ever trying it, I don't want to commit to that volume. And then I found the smaller ones, and yeah, so, and also I yet to do one, what is it, Faygo? It just says red pop. I'm like, you're not even trying. Just red pop.
That's great. That's great. Oh, Charles wants to know, what about...
yeah, great.
What about for me? What about for me? What do I have coming up this week? Possibly a continuation of my 20 years of pedals series. Whereas yesterday's video was pedals I wish I still had. Possibly Wednesday. Might end up pushing it into the weekend. Not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on how the week plays
Sign
out.
up on
people.
the email.
Yeah, you sign up for the email list and you'll get it no matter what day it goes up. But that is going to be pedals that I want to see make a comeback. Something that I've been interested in looking at.
Yes.
What brands, what pedals should be renewed? What brands or pedals should be reissued, retooled,
yeah, let's see some
modernized?
questions about that or comments in the chat about that. And
yeah, so
I'm seeing a bunch of Faygo responses. Apparently, Ricky says it doesn't taste the same anymore. Well, fortunately, I've never tried it before, so I wouldn't know. Ignorance is bliss.
So either.
Apparently, it's the preferred pop of Insane Clown Posse. I assume
Yes, it
ICP.
is.
Unless it's the Decimator people. I don't know. Maybe they drink it too. I don't know. And they make a great root beer. I'll look out for that one, David, because I like me a root beer. Edwin Crane mentions Peach Crush. Oh, that'll be taking one for the team because I do not like peach. Although I tried peach Fanta, and I was surprisingly, I enjoyed that. I was shocked.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it didn't taste like peach candy. Oh, yeah, that's why I figured it would taste like. I was like, holy crap, this actually tastes like a real peach.
Man, I am seeing so much dissing on the old Boss Octave pedals, and it's making me sad.
I want one, though.
Okay, I didn't... Oh, dude, please, don't get me started on Boss Octaver. It's like my favorite thing. It's so good.
I've never owned one.
I'll piggyback a couple comments that I see and string some responses together. So I actually tested out an OC2 Octaver versus an OC2 Octave in the same store, same amp, and I Strat, Telly, Les Paul, clean, dirty, did all the things. And the Octaver tracked great and kept it, like, literally kept up with like the fastest kind of alternate picking that I could possibly do. And yeah, I liked it. I bought it. It was great. Laz, you actually just missed us talking about the vintage orange pedals. So
it's a nice 15-minute or so conversation.
Rewind a little bit.
Yeah. And great to see Laz, our Hungarian homie, in the chat.
And then
so look for the Octaver, although the Octave could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just think the Octaver outperformed it.
Okay.
So if I ever come across another Octaver, that's the one I would get.
Okay.
There's
Now, Charles.
Oh, someone was asking. We never got to finish talking about the what was going on with Fulltone. I think that was Rick. Yeah, Ricky was talking about that.
Right.
Because my camera started going on the fritz.
Yeah, that's just people playing dirty billiards. Considering Fulltone is not actually going out of business.
Yeah, considering they're not actually going out of business, but it'll probably end up being far less. You know,
it'll be
operation.
Like what's his name there, Bill Finnegan situation where he's making clones again, but not really. Like he's not doing it in any volume. So, and that's the same thing. Just make enough to keep the patents current.
Not doing it, not making anything of any volume. That's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
With Bill. Kindly remember that the ridiculous hype that offends so many is not of my making. Really? Not of your making?
Yeah.
You mean,
and you notice as soon as they went into that crazy 5K plus, he's like, you know what? I can make a handful a year. Yeah, what are you selling them for? Are you selling them for the original price, or are you selling them for $5,000?
I'm gonna make brand new Centaurs. Just one every 3.5 years, and then I'm gonna sell it on eBay. That's how I'm gonna do it. And I am never satisfied with whoever builds the KTR. And it's taken me 5 years to get a prototype of my boost pedal, which is basically just the Centaur without the gain circuit. Sorry. All respect to Bill Finnegan for the work that he has done, but buddy, get somebody who like to build the KTR and release that stinking boost pedal. It ain't hard.
Yeah.
I did see the Demonic Machines KTR clone. That's the one that I'm like, I would totally buy that.
They don't even care, right? Like they
with the whole. I mean, it's not like I can buy one for a reasonable price, Bill.
Yeah,
it's true.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like all that Fulltone stuff is just it's taking advantage of the situation. No, don't go spending. And this, I'm saying this as someone who has an OCD and has had it for a long time, used it for a long time, and does enjoy it. Don't spend $500 on an OCD. It's not a pedal that's worth $500.
No, and they will go back down.
Yeah,
they're going to carry a slight premium going forward, but slight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like, I don't know, $30. Okay, I get it. $30, fine.
It's like I had my eye on a. This was before Cooper Effects announced that he was going to join forces with Chase Bliss. I had my eyes on a V2 generation loss, and it was like every time he had a batch, I didn't have the money and I was too late, and so I started watching listings on Reverb, and then of course as soon as he announces that he's closing up Cooper Effects, people start jacking up the price, $1,000, $800, whatever. Recently, one particular listing that I am watching went back down in price to the price that the new version that Chase Bliss and Cooper are releasing literally within weeks. It went back down to the price of that. So, sometimes, guys, when it comes to buying used stuff, you really just end up playing the long game. Yeah. And if you play the long game, it oftentimes pays off.
Yeah. That is true. As long as young folks keep getting into guitar too. So
yep.
So when if those of you that have the children's out there, if the child gets interested in the guitar, make sure to throw them a milk crate of pedals too.
Might as well.
Oh, I want a Turk too. Hobo Roadie. That's that 80s rack chorus.
Oh yeah.
Not cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a little flack from a couple belligerent folk on a Facebook group post about it, because of course everybody, like, I know what happened, I know what he said, I know Mike Fuller's reputation, but as a guy who is very much a history person and cataloging events and understanding contribution of how something actually was, Mike Fuller in many instances is a complete jerk, but you can't tell the history of boutique effects pedals without talking about Mike Fuller.
Oh, exactly.
You can't.
No.
Because he was doing it far earlier than most people. Like as far, Ricky just brought up the Way Huge Camel Toe. And so I remember watching a documentary, and George Trips was literally talking about hanging out at the guitar store that Mike Fuller was working at.
Right.
And George Trips is generally considered to be one of the OGs of boutique pedals. But even George Trips is hanging out at the shop that Fuller is just getting started doing his thing in.
Right.
So that just gives you an idea of how far back Fuller goes.
Yeah.
Is he, the poster child of good stuff, saying good things and behaving properly? Probably not. But he still made a good product, and it's, I hate to bring it up because this is a real messed up situation, but it's kind of like the debate that a lot of us wrestling fans have with Chris Benoit. Given the way that his life ended, it's very difficult to look back on his catalog of work and say you appreciate it, because people are immediately going to throw in your face the way his life ended.
Right.
And it can be hard to separate the art from the artist. And it's very difficult with a guy like Mike Fuller, almost even more, not really even more so, but, well, he didn't kill anybody that we know of. But he's said some really abhorrent things.
Right.
And it's just like, you just can't really say, like, we should just totally disregard what he did, because preserving vintage circuits, improving upon vintage circuits, that's kind of a hallmark of pedals these days. And Fuller was doing it before anybody cared. So,
right. Yeah. Well, yeah, like you figure back in the day, like how many guitar players would go to their tech, I need this to do this. Do you know a guy, and then you happen to know somebody who knows electronics, and they build a little box to do that little thing. And then other guitar players find out about that little box that does that thing. And then next thing you know, you start a little pedal company.
And as Fishbulb just said in the chat, people are complicated. Indeed we are. And to that end of like just one and they tell two friends and they tell two friends and all that, that's basically how Way Huge started. Trips was he was working at, I think it was when he was working with SIR, or it could have been Brower, doing cartage and such and rehearsal. And he had built the first couple of Red Llamas, and somehow somehow that Red Llama ended up in the hands of Tom Petty, because Petty and the Heartbreakers were rehearsing there. And they literally weren't going to give the pedal back to George, even though that was the only one he had and built, and it was his. They literally didn't want to give it back to him. And he's like, no, you can't have it. That's mine. It just goes to, it's like, not every pedal builder is a business person, but at the same time, it's like, dude, I worked on that. You're not going to give me anything for it. You're just going to take it. And he's like, you know what? I'll build you one. And that's essentially what got it going. Bazuki, I think their Marshall style is the Supa lead, but I actually feel like, given some recent posts, that might be on the chopping block for discontinuation. So if you're
snag one while you can,
you might want to snag one while you can. I like this. Travis Barr saying pedals are complicated.
Yep.
Having been demoing these things for almost a decade now, oh yeah, they're complicated.
Yeah, and I feel bad. Like, Lawrence will come in the chat. I'm like, hey, Lawrence, can you build blah, 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 blah? And he's like, no. Because what you're asking for, I need, like, full digital this and that, because what you're asking for doesn't exist. And I was like, all right. But can you? Well, I can, but it'll cost you an arm and a leg.
That's actually why I stopped asking people if they would be willing to build things.
Yeah.
Let me just put it, I've said it a bit earlier, but I'll just reiterate it more succinctly. Once you actually work for a company and you see what goes into making something possible, what's possible and what's not possible, you stop asking people for stuff.
I do it now to bug them or inspire them. But yeah, well, I remember Lawrence just released last month, his 74 Deluxe Marshall in a box.
Nice.
3 years in the making for that pedal. It's just okay.
This stuff isn't easy, and half the battle these days now is figuring out how you can acquire enough componentry to be able to build enough to sell.
Right. Apparently, John is putting his Embers up for sale, which is Lawrence's. He hates it when you say it, but it's his take on a Klon, except with an active bass control circuit.
Oh, I
think
like
that might be the active, or is the active one in his Vermin? Either way, it's got a bass control. It's a Klon with a bass control, so it's more usable. So it's like a really boutique EHX crayon. I'm sure he's you didn't just say that.
Although I actually think the crayon is based on the Timmy, but I don't know for certain.
Well, it was funny because they're like, here's our soul food, our transparent overdrive. You're like, so it's your Klon? Yes. Here's the crayon. It's the soul food with a bass control. But it doesn't really sound like the same circuit.
Huh.
And they're
That's interesting.
Oh. Yeah. I had both on my board for a while.
Huh. Lawrence has, and I have still not played any of his pedals. Still not. We need to fix that. Hopefully,
we do.
We need to fix that sometime soon. Anyone familiar with Love Pedal? The Chula is pretty good. That's like Josh Smith's pedal.
Mm-hmm.
I almost don't want to get one because it's like, no, that's his pedal. That's he can just have that.
Doesn't it also have like no knobs on that one?
No, it's got one knob.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was one. He's got one pedal. It's like I can't plug in a pedal without knobs, Sean. I can't do it. I can't be at the mercy of the designer. I can't give over full control.
So needless to say, you're not going to be playing that Earthquaker. You're not going to be playing that Earthquaker octave fuzz.
No. Well, first of all, we know how I feel. Octaves go down, not up.
Octaves go down, not up. My Beatronics Vespa says otherwise.
Yeah, I can go higher on the fretboard if I want to hear higher. I'm just saying.
Oh boy.
Scott Brockway says I got a Carl and a red Zen. That's where that Zen drive. I was thinking about that pedal yesterday. I was like, hey, I had a Zen drive. I forgot. I was like, where did that go? Apparently to Scott Brockway.
I think one of these weird cheap Amazon pedals I have is basically just a Zen drive. It sounds pretty good. I'm really surprised it's one of those like cheap Chinese mini, probably cost less than $50 pedals. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. I like it.
I forget what replaces Zen drive. Oh yeah, the Lost Dutchman, which is Lawrence's kind of take on a Timmy, but he hates it when you call it that too.
Well, what do you want me to call it, Lawrence?
It's not my take. Jeez. I don't clone pedals. I do my own thing. I was like, yeah, well, it's an improved upon. That's the way I see it. Your take is always good. So
well, it's like you need to talk. You almost have to talk in. You need to talk in conventions, and you need to talk in terms that guitar players are familiar with. Because if they're not familiar with it, then there's just going to be no frame of reference.
Yeah.
It's like I could tell you, oh man, you gotta try the chicken sandwich. Who's chicken sandwich? Like every fast food place has a chicken sandwich. Do you want me to get Chick-fil-A? I can't. It's Sunday. They're closed. So am I going to Popeyes? Am I going to Wendy's? Am I going to McDonald's? Like, what chicken sandwiches am I getting? No, you got to tell them, you got to go to this place. It's the only way.
Their take on the chicken sandwich, they do this and this. They've added this to it.
Exactly. Well, you need to
that's
talk
what I've been lacking in my
conventions.
chicken sandwich. I want a chicken sandwich with that.
Exactly.
Hey, Chris Hunter.
Guitar Man 45 is asking if I've tried the little Azer pedals on Amazon. I have not. I did see the infamous Azer Reverb that 60 Cycle Hum gave away 1 million of those. Yep. When I was at Guitar House a few months ago. I heard it. It sounded okay. I didn't hate it. But I didn't get a chance to play it.
Well, and yes, Bozique, or who said that? Yeah, Bozique. Yeah, and like the chicken sandwich, and most of them are synthetic chicken. Yep. Thanks, Eddie.
Guitar House! Yes, exactly, Michael. Exactly. I won't buy a King of Tone because I ain't waiting 4 years. Yeah, well, I
you don't have to wait 4 years for the Duke.
Right.
If nothing else, you don't have to wait as long.
Octopus Ears is asking, is the Mini MXR Timmy any good? I have a video of it on the channel, and I can attest that it is one of my... It was totally like, okay, is this going to be a thing? MXR doing like collabs with boutique builders to like make more of their famous pedals? Because I'm totally in on the concept, and it does sound really, really good. It's one of my favorite overdrives right now. And has been for almost 2 years.
Like Edwin's line, Verb is just springs, but not those. Not necessarily. I use a simulated plate reverb myself. I got away from spring reverb.
Yeah, I'm a big time plate reverb fan and hall.
Because you can have delays and reverb, lots of delay and lots of reverb, as long as it's a plate reverb, because it's more subtle, I find.
Yeah. Yes. I thought I saw some
Mr. Anderson.
questions that I wanted to answer. What pedal? I just turned up, Dan. What pedal are they chatting about? I have no idea which pedal we were chatting about at that point in time. Oh, that's what's go. But yeah, I recommend that Mini Timmy. And I do, like I said, I have a video on the channel. Please check it out. And hey, look, if you want to, my email inbox is open. My website has a contact page. If you can't find a video of something and are wondering if I have a video on it, feel free to contact me. Like, just fill out the contact form, and I check my emails at least 3 times a day.
And let's be honest, you've played a lot of pedals as well, so it could even be something. Yeah, I don't have a video. However, I checked one out at NAMM. Blah 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 blah.
Right, exactly. So yeah,
Sean's a great resource for that, folks. I use Sean. I use Aaron. These are my resources.
Yeah, just it's all right there. Like, literally, I made the website as a central hub for all the things that I do. So if you just hit up my website, there's the email list you can sign up for to make sure you see videos. There's the contact page. Just I'm literally available. Literally available. And I'm not at this point charging for consulting. Yet. Yeah. If it takes more than 2 hours of my time, I might need to get something from you.
Yeah. Here's an Azor pedal.
No. Jeff K is asking, did we talk about the Duke of Tone? We talked maybe briefly about it
at the top of the show.
I don't know how much we did, but I'm hoping to.
Oh, I just caught a fly. That was awesome.
I am currently trying to finance the purchase of a Duke of Tone. So if one of y'all wants to buy some of my pedals either via Reverb or on I just signed up for Sweetwater's Gear Exchange, then boom, let's make this happen, and I'll make the Duke.
I'm looking at you, Guitar Man 45, because I'm pretty sure he's got I don't know, frequent flyer account with those guys, because they deliver stuff weekly to him. I'm just saying. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he's
So
got a master plan, and he did tease it in the here. The ground breaks in the spring, and I'm not saying he's building a facility that's going to contain one of everything, basically, but the man's working on it, Sean. The
all
man's
right
working on
then.
it.
Okay, so Scott was asking for my reverb page. My reverb page is reverb.com/shop/Sean's-gear-outlet-7. I should really change that.
Yeah.
I
To
should
the
really
FPJ.
Yeah. But the idea that I really Ocean 11 available? No, I sold that to a former student of mine many years ago. But that's a great reverb pedal. But the idea that I want to do with both Ben and I were talking off camera, the two pedals I'm currently trying to finance the purchase of either via reverb sales or via anything else
Edwin.
is I want to get the MXR Duke of Tone, and I also want to get that new Jackson Audio Silvertone Twin 12 preamp pedal. And it's basically the concept of those videos is going to be the video that everybody else should be making. Because I've watched a couple of them and they all miss something. And so I'm going to try not to miss. And I'm going to try to think outside the bun, so to speak.
Chris says, you guys got much insight into chorus? Yes.
Yeah.
About square wave versus triangle. So I would assume a tri-chorus would be a triangle chorus, which I have less experience with. That's a good question. I like them both.
So where is this question? And this might have to be the last thing that I do.
Yes.
Okay. So you got much inside chorus pedals about square wave versus triangle. Okay. So I actually do, because there's a pedal on my current pedal board right now, which will be a future video, my new downsized worship pedal board coming soon. I have the
board you will worship over. That's your title. The board you will worship over. Just saying. You feel free. Some thumbnail, I don't know.
Anyway.
We're not worthy. No.
We suck. So I have the Warp Vinyl Hi-Fi on there right now. And if you're talking about the waveforms, it actually has 3 selectable waveforms. It has a normal sine wave, has a triangle wave, and it has a square wave. And basically what that changes the shape of the modulation. Your typical sine wave just kind of does that normal crest and trough kind of thing that a wave in nature will do. It's a very natural kind of sound to it. When you start manipulating that, you get into more extreme kind of effects. With the triangle, you get a little bit of that smoothness taken away and a much steeper incline and drop off. With the square wave, that's where things start to sound really choppy, because you have a flat and then an immediate up, a little bit of it, and then a steep drop, like 90-degree angle, effectively. So, excuse me. So what you end up with is, at least in my experience, I tend to go back and forth between the sine wave and the triangle wave, because those tend to work better within the context of a group. I will do the square wave if I can lapse it into a vibrato mode, because that kind of really choppy vibrato can be really fun.
Sure.
So really, it's just the way that the modulated signal is processed, either giving you that nice dip and rise, nice and smooth, either incline and then down, incline and then down, which still has a smoothness to it, but that drop is going to be steep, and it's not going to feel
I'm changing my vote. I prefer triangle.
Yeah.
Sean explains it. This is why I started following Sean's channel years ago, because he explains shit, and I retain it. You use the right words. You dumb it down enough that even I can understand.
Dumb it down for all the dum-dums.
Yes.
You're not dum-dums. We just need to learn. Everybody can learn. And yeah, square is just that. You start out flat, 90 degree up, and then we go 90 degrees and we're still, and then we drop. It's like the worst roller coaster you've ever been on.
Exactly. And on that note, we are going to wrap things up. We've had quite the crowd in here tonight, which is awesome. Thanks again, Terry and Charles and myself with the links to Sean's various things.
Yes, thank you, everybody.
We all chipped in on that one. Check out website, SeanPearson.com. Check out the YouTube channel. Check out the Reverb page and the Sweetwater page.
Yes, please. Right now, just the push is all trying to get some more guys on the and girls for that matter on the email list. Get you guys the videos exactly when they come out, before they come out, maybe, and without the algorithm getting in the way. Finance some gear purchases, because let's face it, if I can actually buy these pedals, am I beholden to anybody except myself and you watching?
Exactly.
No, because if I spend my own money on it,
yep,
there you go. Yeah. I would personally prefer it if you guys checked out the Sweetwater Gear Exchange, because then I can report back to my Sweetwater affiliate guy on whether or not the platform is actually a good one. But I do encourage you guys to check it out. The rates are actually pretty comparable to Reverb. But now through, like I said earlier, now through Halloween, if you just want to get paid out with a Sweetwater gift card, you don't have any fees through Halloween. So there are a couple listings on there that I'm like, if I can sell these and get paid in a Sweetwater gift card, I can buy these pedals that I want to make these videos on, and I don't have to be beholden to anybody.
Right.
So,
which, yeah, and fortunately, I can speak for Sean and myself. The majority of the stuff where you get a product from a company, you do, even if they don't say that, you do feel somewhat obligated to shine a nice light. Because if it's a complete piece of crap, we're just going to contact the company and go, you know what? Let's agree to disagree.
It's not worth my time.
Yeah. But, fortunately, you get your hands on some really nice stuff and work with some, I'm just like the Chase Bliss guys. They put it, I'm like, I don't know what this is. And then Sean's like, all right, it's going to take me 38 minutes to explain this pedal.
But if you stick around for all 38 of those minutes.
Yeah.
But I guarantee if you spend at least 20 of those 38 minutes, you're going to walk away saying, like, I think I can use this now.
Exactly. I didn't think I needed that in my life, and now I do. Thanks. Perfect.
You're welcome.
Exactly. And like I say, breaks it down so even and if I can understand it, you can definitely understand it. That's how that works, because # lifestyle choices. So on that note, Sean's been Sean, I've been me, you've been you, because that's how it works.
And before I forget, happy belated Batman Day, everybody.
Yes. Happy belated Batman Day. I'll be back tomorrow night with Canucks with Guitars with my co-hosts that I referenced about 2 hours ago. If you missed that part, I guess you need to rewind. And then no show Tuesday for Nest Canucks. That's right. Wednesday, lunch hour, apparently. And then, and Christopher, Soda Pop tasting. It's a Faygo Orange. Delicious orange. So there you go. I saw you had asked, and he had come in later. So, anniversary of Hendrix's death today. Here we are. So if you got a Strat, play one. Just for a minute or two. Play a little wing.
And if you got a Marshall, crank one.
All the way.
Yes.
With a fuzz face into her. And a curly cable if you have one. Because, better tone, apparently.
Might as well.
So, all right, folks. Hold those doors open. Let Doug's wife in ahead of you in traffic because, she's real. Do good things because Scott Brockway's a nice guy. And I'll see you tomorrow night. And, of course, don't litter. Don't.